Welcome to Intentional Motherhood. I'm your host, Kelsey Redd. And in today's guided visualization, we're going to grapple with this paradox of being both meek and humble and recognizing that we are dependent on God for everything, while also recognizing that we are everything to God and that He loves us and has given us so many gifts and continues to bless us abundantly. So to prepare for this visualization, please find somewhere comfortable to sit or lie down. Allow your eyes to close and your body to start to relax. Take a few deep, slow breaths. And I'd like you to just tap into your third eye as we're going to be visualizing today. And find yourself in your favorite natural setting. Maybe that's in the midst of a forest or on a mountaintop. Maybe next to a river or lake, or on the beach. Just take a moment to fully visualize yourself arriving in this calm and peaceful natural setting that really speaks to you. Now I really want you to experience this setting with all of your senses. So maybe notice the scent in the air. Notice how the wind or the sun or the water feels against your skin. See if you can pick something up and feel it in your fingers and really start to examine it visually. Notice every detail about where you are. In fact, notice every detail about a leaf or a blade of grass or a stone or a seashell. In your mind's eye, pick it up, feel it, examine it. Notice every detail. And just consider the miracle of the fact that God created each and every leaf and blade of grass, piece of sand or seashell with this much detail. It's beautiful when you look at it. It's amazing to think of the detail that was put into every little piece of creation. Now I want you to put your object down and start to imagine that you're zooming out. Your body is actually floating up and away into the sky. And as you float, your vision expands. So now where you were in this quiet area, now you see a mile on both sides of where you were. You see the shoreline expanding. You see the greater forest amidst where you were sitting in the woods and the trees. Maybe you see where the streams and the river connect. And continue to float backwards, float up, thereby allowing your vision to continually expand. Now you see that the shoreline is actually just a little strip of sand against a majestic, vast ocean. And now you see that the trees and the woods, for just a little spot amongst all these mountains and valleys. You continue to float upward so far that you're starting to see the curvature of the planet. For the sake of this meditation, we're assuming that the planet is round. And you continue to float upward, expanding your vision to now you can see the whole planet and it looks like just a little blue marble. You see the moon in its orbit. You see our whole solar system, all the planets, even Pluto, hanging out, our non-planet. And you continue floating farther and farther into the light of the sun, S-O-N, because you've already passed our entire solar system. You can see the galaxy, and yet as you float, you're finding yourself reaching brighter and brighter light. You find that you're actually slowly being immersed in this light, except it's 1,000 times brighter than the sun. It's not hot though, but it is all-consuming. And eventually you find that your entire vision is absolutely consumed by the brightest, purest light you've ever experienced. And just as it begins to overwhelm you with peace and joy, but also sensations that you've never experienced before, just when you feel like you can't take it anymore, you make out a face and a body of a glorious being, except this being is 10 feet tall. So tall that when you look up at his face, you feel like a toddler. And this face is the most compassionate, loving, tender face you've ever seen, and the eyes are piercing through you with the most unconditional and radiating love you've ever experienced. And you smile and you're so happy to see this being, and he's so happy to see you, and you run to each other and he scoops you up in his arms like a parent scoops up their little child after being apart. And you're hugging and you're smiling and you're laughing as he holds you and spins you and rocks you. And you've never felt this kind of love. And as you look into his eyes, look at his face, you notice that he's looking at you the exact same way you were looking at that object earlier, that seashell, that leaf. He's examining every detail and he's in awe of the beauty that he sees. You realize that you are his creation. He created you with such detail, such exquisite detail. And in his mind, you are perfect. You are exactly the way you were designed to be. And you suddenly, through no verbal communication, because that's not necessary in this realm, but you suddenly understand that just as you were in awe of the detail of God's creation that you were paying attention to earlier, you recognize that you are also one of his creations, and that everything that you saw in that whole journey backwards up into this realm of light was all just a gift for you, because you are the pinnacle of his creations. You are the heir to this glorious throne and this majestic kingdom. And you recognize that God created everything from the dirt and the dust to the grass and the leaves and the trees and the mountains and the streams and the rivers and the oceans. And he created you. And everything that he created, that entire planet, was made to be your schoolyard, your playground. He created it as a gift for you, as a place for you to land, to go through this earth school, to have these mortal experiences, so that you could ultimately return back to this realm of light as his heir. And with this knowledge, you're equipped to return back to earth, although you're reluctant because you hate to leave this feeling of comfort and peace and tenderness and love above anything that you can ever experience on earth. But you slowly return back down to earth, back into that natural setting where you started, except this time everything is different, because now you recognize that everything that the light touches is consumed by God's love, is quickened by God's light and love. And you realize there's actually a connection here that has always been there, but that you just didn't notice, or you became blind to for a moment, in that you are actually consumed by God's love and part of God's love and light. And your whole life, everything, all the energy that flows through you, that flows through the rivers and the wind and the mountains and the ocean and the solar system, is all quickened by God's energy, his light, and his love. And so your life can never be the same. You've fundamentally changed, because now you recognize that not only are you one of God's divine creations, but you are also his divine heir, his absolute joy, the purpose of all he has done and created. His whole plan revolves around you, saving you, having you return to be with him as his beloved child. I invite you to just take a few moments to savor this feeling, this gratitude, this awe, this joy. In fact, feel free to pause this and spend as much time as you can enjoying this state of being. When you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Take a few more deep breaths and go about your day, but go about it now with this sense of where you really belong in the scheme of things, with the gratitude for all that God has blessed you with, and the knowledge that he cares more about you than anything else in the world. Thanks for joining me.